You like the cold?
No?
Yeah. It's great out there, huh? The other stuff. It's the other stuff that comes with it. Okay. Can you trust your conscience?
I think that was not a vote of confidence.
Can you trust your conscience?
No.
So what do you? So what does a person do? How do we make decisions? How do we make decisions? The answer that I would hope you can say is yes, I can. Because if not, what is our compass as we? Because when the pressure's on, how do we make decisions? How do we make moral decisions about what's right and what's wrong? How do we do that? What do we do in the middle of that? Just thumb through the Bible and try to find an answer, or let's look at this clip. Jiminy Cricket has an idea. They're supposed to be sound. Sounds up. It's not on here. No. It's up over here.
Is it connected? Is that wire connected?
That's the problem.
I heard a pop.
Is that the wrong? I had the wrong wire. The wrong wire was up. How's this wire? Gotta get the right wire in there. Okay, let's try it now.
Say, that's pretty swell. Gee, thanks. But, don't we get a badge or something?
Well, we'll see.
You mean maybe it will?
I shouldn't wonder.
Make it a gold one?
Maybe. Now remember, Pinocchio, be a good boy, and always let your conscience be your guide. Goodbye, my lady.
Goodbye.
La-da-dum-dum-dum-da-da, la-dee-da. Not bad, says I. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot about you. Well, Pinocchio, maybe you and I had better have a little heart-to-heart talk.
Why?
Well, you want to be a real boy, don't you?
Uh-huh.
All right. Sit down, son. Now, you see, the world is full of temptations.
Temptations?
Yeah, temptations. They're the wrong things that seem right at the time. But even though the right things may seem wrong sometimes, sometimes the wrong things may be right at the wrong time, or vice versa. Understand?
So I'm going to be right.
Attaboy, Pinocchio, and I'm going to help you. And anytime you need me, you know, just whistle, like this.
Like this?
No, try it again, Pinocchio.
Like this?
No, son. Now listen. That's it. Come on now. Let's sing it. When you get in trouble and you don't know right from wrong, give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. When you meet temptation and the urge is very strong, give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. Not just a little squeak, pucker up and blow. And if your whistle's weak, yell, Jiminy Cricket, rock. Take the straight and narrow path, and if you start to slide, give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. And always let your conscience be your guide.
Turn it down, turn it all the way off. Let your conscience be your guide, just give a little whistle, and if you want to be a good boy, and you know, that's... So, what does all that mean? Do we let your conscience be your guide, and if you got a problem, you got to whistle? Yeah, well, I'm not sure about all that.
Sounds good, but.
I hope we have a developed conscience, because that's extremely important.
Somebody's having a bad hair day.
Well, what is interesting about it is that the angel, the devil, have got her face on it, you know.
Yeah.
And because we each have our own conscience. I've talked to many people who say, well, I don't know. I don't feel compelled to do that, or I don't know. I don't have a... It seemed right to me. Or, you know, in my heart it's fine. In the Bible, Paul specifically talked about this, and I'd like to have a couple messages on conscience. And it's in 1 Timothy. And Paul's talking to Timothy, and it's a spiritual son. And he says, Timothy, it's in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 18. And for the next couple of passages, it says, Timothy, my son, hear my instructions for you. Based on the prophetic words that are spoken about you earlier, may they give you confidence to fight well in the Lord's battle. Each of us have battles of making decisions of what's right, what's wrong, what's the thing to do, what we don't do. And how do you fight the good fight? And he says, cling tightly to your faith in Christ and always keep your conscience clear. It's both. How can we continue to do something if we don't have a compelling, if we don't have a conscience about something? We're going to be doing something that we really don't want to do. We need to have an inner urge. That's where the conscience is. And then he goes on, for some people have deliberately violated their consciences, and as a result, their faith has been shipwrecked. Violated their conscience, and as a result, their faith has been shipwrecked. Here's a quote from Vincent van Gogh, conscience is a man's compass. We need a compass, we need a guide, we need something right where we're at telling us the way. If we're planning to we plan to go somewhere, a compass is good. It's good to have a map too, and some other types of things, or somebody else that knows the way. That's why you give a little whistle, maybe, because somebody else might know a different path. What is conscience? A sense of consciousness of the moral goodness or blameworthiness of one's conduct, intentions, or character, together with a feeling of obligation to do right or to be good. So, conscious and consciousness are similar. It's a conscious awareness of right and wrong. And as I think we know, that we can override that. What are some things that override our conscience? What are things that, I don't know, make it go dull, make our conscience, turns it down? Maybe we can put a line here and say, these are the things that diminish it, and these are the things that ramp it up. So these are the negatives and these are the pluses.
Fear could go on both sides.
Fear could go on both sides. That's interesting. Talk about that, Benita. Fear and fear.
Well, people often lie for fear of being caught in something. they don't do something wrong because of fear of the Lord.
Okay, so fear can actually diminish our conscience, and it diminishes it because we're afraid of if we come out.
Man.
Okay, so the fear of others. That's not the fear of God. This is the fear of God can ramp our conscience up. That's good. I like that. What either ramps it up or diminishes?
Rebellion.
Rebellion.
Diminish.
Rebellion. How does that do that?
Well, when you're young in your conscience will actually, you will hear your conscience. You say, I shouldn't do that. But I'm going to do it anyway because I just kind of like the idea of doing it. Like maybe grab that candy bar or maybe I'll punch my brother because my dad's not watching.
Okay.
You know?
And after a while, if you go down that route, it's like we don't hear the bells or the whistles anymore. Because what a conscience is it's sort of like that whistle. It's the referee going, whoosh. Something's going on.
It's like the rubber band. When it starts to lose its elasticity, it doesn't draw you back as much. And you can get a little freer. You can go out more like a string. It's more like a string. You can go farther. Whereas when it's trained well, it has elasticity. It won't pull
That's
you
good.
back.
Okay, you've stretched it and you can't even realize the shape anymore.
So like old underwear, you know?
Remind me not to go through your, never mind. Do not point out that.
But you know, we can also rebel against the status quo or rebel against peer pressure.
Okay, so, I mean, what you're saying is that certain decisions can either diminish or ramp up a conscience. Our choices can do that, can't they? Certain choices ramp it up or diminish, depending on what it is.
Pleasure, because we don't reap in the same season we sow.
Okay, does pleasure, you know, what we want, certain pleasure or temptation can override, because we hear the scream of temptation and not the little whistle back there saying, or we can go back to that gal, you know, with the angel and the devil there.
Who you surround yourself with.
Okay, people. And people can go on both sides, can't they?
Right.
Yeah.
People can be on both sides. There can be positive people and negative people.
Doubt can be negative, and the faith can be the thing that ramps.
Okay, our faith in God can ramp it up. If we have certain doubts, I doubt, you know, if God's even around, or I doubt that the Bible is right, so you don't concentrate on that, and then it diminishes conscience to say, I guess it's okay, you know, we're just eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we're going to die anyway, so might as well live it up today.
Hatred, bitterness,
Okay,
unforgiveness.
hatred. Okay, anger, hatred, bitterness, those types of things, unforgiveness, resentments. All of a sudden we don't have much of a conscience towards who we have a problem with. And it can shut us down in general if bitterness can find a real deep root within us.
Apathy can diminish our conscience.
Okay, apathy, and I think apathy has a lot to do with, as a result of maybe anger or doubt or pleasure or rebellion and fear.
Selfishness.
There's